Do we know Michelle?
I
there?
think we have, but I just want to welcome
Yes.
everybody, and I'm going to ask people to mute their mics. If hopefully everybody can hear, raise your hand if you can hear. Okay. Now we do have closed captioning today, and you're going to want to hit on the CC icon and hit show subtitles, and then you'll see the captions come across the bottom. If that's in the way, you can use your mouse and go over the captioning and grab it and move it anywhere on the screen, okay? All right, everybody seeing the captions okay? Excellent, all right. I'm gonna be passing this over to Lorin, and he's gonna do a presentation, and then a little later we'll have a question and answer session. And that's when you can, we'll call on you and you can unmute yourself and ask your question and whatnot. You can also use the chat feature. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this over. Well, before that, I want to say thank you to Cindy Thompson from Chicago for captioning for us today. And this is covered by Caption Call. It's underwritten by Caption Call, and we can't thank them enough for picking up the charge of paying for the captioning. Okay. All right. Without further ado, I'm passing it over to Lorin.
Okay, thanks, Dan. I also wanted to mention that if you would like to ask questions after the session, you can go to the virtual demo center, which I'm going to be going through here in a couple of minutes. And there's a place there where you can click a button to leave a question, and then we can try to follow up with you after that. So if you wanted to say, I'm having a problem hearing in this certain situation, and I have sort of a moderate hearing loss, do you have any suggestions? We can always get in touch with you and have a discussion or maybe a private Zoom session and address that. Okay. So what I'd like to accomplish today, I'm just looking at my notes. I want to make sure I cover anything. Yeah. So there are really 2 or 3 main topics that I'd like to get through today. One is to review the access and the usage of the Virtual Demo Center. And by the way, today I'm going to try showing you a updated version of it. It's not live yet, but we've made some changes for usability and to add a little bit more information to it. So we'll be looking at a prototype of it, which should be available soon, maybe within the next few days or next week. And as I'm going through that, I'm going to point out 3 devices in particular that I want to talk about today. And these are very highly configurable assisted listening devices. So they've introduced a new version of the products, this company called Lorin here. So I'll talk about that. And then I want to also talk about something that's not a product, but it works with those 3, based on the same technology as those 3 devices that I'm going to talk about. So I think that is about all. So I'll just launch into it. I'm going to share my screen. I guess I can share it, right, Dan? Okay. I just have to find the right screen to share. Just bear with me for 1 second. There it is. So the first thing is, how do you get to the Virtual Demo Center? And that is, go to the website hearinglossrochester.org, which is our chapter's website. And when you're there, you can scroll down. Can everybody see this okay? Okay, great, thanks. And if you scroll down a ways, you'll see this little icon over on the left called the Bdc Virtual Demo Center. And there's also a link over here. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not it. There's also a link to the Virtual Demo Center website. So if you just click on either of those, it'll take you to it. I'm going to go there just quickly, but then I'm going to switch to a different version of it. So this is what you will see today. Here's the home page, and it explains a little bit about what the purpose of this is. It gives some disclaimers here about HLAA, and then you can click through and go to a next page, which gives you some, it's sort of a guide, I would say. But I'm going to stop right here with this website and switch over to the new website. The reason I'm doing this is that if you have any thoughts on this while I'm talking, I would be very interested in hearing if you have suggestions, things you like, you don't like, and you could either mention that today, or you can leave a, you can leave a question here. You click here. If you want to leave a question, you have a suggestion, or maybe some product that you think we should consider adding to the demo center. So this is a new look, and primarily we went to this look because, as you just saw, you would have to click through 2 pages to get to the main demo center page. Here, what you can do is, it's your choice. If you want to, if it's your first visit, we suggest that you look at the Bdc Overview. You click on that link, they're all in orange, and it shows you what the purpose is of the demo center. I'm not going to dwell on it, but I just want to show you the navigation. And then if you click on the BDC guide, it will, this is sort of our way of giving some advice. You know, if you haven't had your hearing tested, you should. If you wear a CI or hearing aids, look for assisted devices at the manufacturer's website first, and then come to our website for other devices. And then, of course, you can continue straight on to the demo center page if you want. But I'm sort of working with a model here where you get to the main page of the demo center from the main page, or from the first page, the home page that you arrive at. So this is what you'll see, and you click on main page, and that eventually is going to take you to, it's a little slow when we're working through Zoom. It'll be faster. Oh, that's taking a while. I think we got some network congestion here. There, we're finally getting here. You notice this is the prototype. It'll say, I'll get rid of the prototype when, when we go live with it. So let's go to the main page. And this is what you'll see when you get to the main page. You'll see our demo center devices, the ones that we actually have, that we own, that you can come in and test. And then we've got a new page added, which is more device options. And when you click on that, and the purpose of this is to help you find additional devices, maybe that we don't even have in the demo center. Maybe you know you want some kind of a neck loop. And this suggests there are 2 ways to find that, find those other devices. One is, if you're familiar with using a browser and doing Google searches, just go in and type some keywords such as ALD for assisted listening device, ALD hearing loss TV, or ALD hearing loss noisy situations. Actually, we'll probably also have a page with some of these different suggestions built in that you can just click on. And that'll take you to a screen that will show you various web pages that you can click on to find those other devices. Or the other option, and this one I think is pretty neat, There's a vendor, it used to be called Harris Communications, is now called Diglo. I don't know how they got that name, but anyway, they're called Diglo. And if you go there, what you can find, and I'm going to do this, is you can find a guide to help you decide or to help you find different devices based on your problem that you're having. I'm sorry about the jittery scrolling. So you go to the Diglo site, you scroll down a little bit, and you can click on, I have some trouble hearing. And then I hope this is readable on your screen. Let's suppose I say I have trouble hearing the TV or on the phone. So I'll click on that one. Then they give you another page. So you can see how interactive it is with you. I can't hear when I'm using my smartphone, or I can't hear when I'm using my landline. I can't hear my TV. Let's go with the TV for now. And then they show you some different options that you have. If you prefer a technology, well, you might say, I don't even know, and you might check them all. I don't know. But radio frequency type device, or an infrared device, or a Bluetooth. Well, let's suppose we want a Bluetooth device. And then we click next. And this one baffles me a little bit. I don't know, I have to choose a range, but I'm going to say I usually sit within 30 feet of my television set. And what do you want? Do you want headphones, earbuds, stethoscope type, a neck loop, or a speaker? Well, let's suppose we want, I don't know, headphones. Now they're going to show you products with headphones. So this is really for somebody who doesn't wear hearing aids. They have little devices that connect to your television, and they stream via Bluetooth into the headset. So that's one option. And they show a few others. So while you're here, you can even buy it on this website if you want. But if you don't want to buy it here, maybe you say, well, I'd rather buy from some other provider that I know. At least you have the information and you know what to look for when you go to that provider. Or you might just say, oh, I want to do an Amazon search and see what they have. I've found the prices here to be pretty competitive, though. So that is one way to go beyond the devices that we have in the demo center. So let me just go back to the demo center now. By the way, whenever you get to a site like that where you've gone off the demo center, you get back simply by closing that window, and then you come right back to where you were. Actually, let me ask, is there anybody on the call who has not visited the demo center? And I'm asking that, if you can just raise your hand if you do, because I don't want to go through each one of these categories, but I will say that there's a category here of hearing aid and CI assistive accessories directly from the manufacturer and made for your CI or your hearing aids. So that's a great place to start. Smartphone and tablet apps, which you may be interested in. There's a learning center with, I'll click on that one just to show you some really instructive videos on how hearing loops work and journey of sound to the brain, and an animated picture of how sound gets to your brain. Tips for better hearing videos that Eric and some others have produced. There's Hearing Loss Basics from the national website, and a really interesting website here, Hearing Loss in Older Adults by the National Institutes of Health. So I recommend visiting that. And then hearing-friendly venues, this is tailored for around Rochester, but if you're in a different area, at least this will give you ideas on what to look for in your own area. Then purchasing sources, and also a link back to our chapter website. So looking at Democentry Devices, I'll just say briefly a couple things about this. And that is it's arranged by categories of devices. These are alerting devices for people who have trouble hearing maybe their doorbell or their telephone. This is hearing on the phone amplification, which presents different ways of amplifying when you're on the telephone. Here are some amplified telephones. Here's an inline amplifier that can be used on traditional old telephones with the coiled loop between the handset and the base. Hearing on the phone, here is captioning. So there are caption phones made by a couple different vendors. One by Caption Call, who supports our captioning here for this presentation, and also by CapTel. And then, oh, by the way, while I'm mentioning it, on any of the images that you see, you can simply click on it and it will take you to the manufacturer's website. Now it does this because it's because there's a little, I think it's just because there's a little bit of a delay. Well, that's interesting. Caption Call must have changed something. I'll show you another example of this and what I've done about it and what we're going to probably do about it for other pages as well. Let's try CapTel. Okay, so if you go to CapTel, you'll see all the different phones that they have, including the one that you saw that's in our demo center. Actually, in our demo center, we have these two phones. And what's nice about this is you can get a lot of information. I don't know if I can click on the phone itself, but it explains who it's for. It has a video so you can see how it's used. They probably somewhere here also have more detailed information on the phone. Yeah, learn more. So there's another link. So it's a great way to learn. It's a good way to augment the live demonstration that you can see in the demo center. You can see you can click on that and start a video. Now, and what I want to explain now is for everyone who's on the call, not just possibly people who are new or haven't used the demo center. But actually, I'll save that for a minute. Instead, I want to finish up here. Another category is personal listening and accessories. And this is where we get to the products that I want to talk about. It's these three products, plus, well, these three headsets, plus one TP-Link product. But let me go back up to the top. And what I discovered, I check all these links periodically. And here's what happened when I clicked on the amplified ringer with strobe. Because you can click on any image and it'll take you to a web page that'll give you more information about that product. Well, I clicked on this one. That's where I started. And what I got, actually, this is a new page. What I got, I went directly to this page. So the link works just fine. We went to the manufacturer's website, but they say, sorry, but we don't have that here. So I called the manufacturer and I said, what's going on? Should I remove this from our demo center's website? They said, no, don't remove it. We're just out of stock right now. I said, okay, I'll leave it there. But I thought I have to do something for people who first run into this and don't know what's going on. So I created this, and I think that this might be a good thing to do for many of our pages. What it does is, besides just taking you to that one website for that one product, it gives you options. You can go to that website and check availability. And here I said that as of February 1st, it's not currently shown, but it will be restocked. The other option is you can leave the Bdc site and see other retail sources for the same product. So I created a little search that takes you automatically to the a search for that product. And it looks like that product's sold by Amazon, it's sold by Best Buy, it's sold by Walmart, it's sold by a bunch of other companies. So this gives you a much broader range and a good way to compare prices if you want to. So let's now go to the Amazon link since it's at the top. And you see it. There it is. It's just a different color. And you get the price and you can get all the details on it. If you scroll down on the page, somewhere down here they have, there you go, details on it. So I'll be asking the people from our technology group what your view is on this, and maybe we can discuss this later. The downside of doing this is that it takes one extra click for everybody to get to the page that they wanted to get to, but it also gives them the options. So it makes it a little bit more complex, and that's a part that bothers me a little bit. And then I've got a third option, which is see similar products, not necessarily this product, but maybe products offered by other manufacturers. So here are phone light flashers and telephone ringers and strobes. Here's, I'll go back to Amazon again because it's convenient. Let's see what they show. So they showed this one. Now that one's pretty expensive. You're probably going to want to, well, maybe shy away from that one. But you see a lot of various options like that. So anyway, let me go back to, get back to where I was then. And we might see something like this on as an intermediate page to get to the manufacturer's websites, just so you have more options. Okay, so the main part of today's discussion is talking about this new product called the Be Here Proxy. It's made by the same company that makes these two headsets, both of which we have in the demo center. And I wanted to mention these as well because the technology that's used within all three of these is identical. So if you know how to use this, you know how to use that, you know how to use that. The products are slightly different though. And let me just first mention that this was the initial product that they had. I'm sorry, this was the initial product that they had. Then they introduced a follow-on product. They still make this. This one's a little bit pricier at like about $350, but it provides wireless charging. It also includes a telecoil, which this one does not have. And I forget there's one other feature. But we're focusing on this one, so let's move over here. I clicked on the image, so I'm going directly to the website. You may find an intermediate page in the future version of the virtual demo center. The nice thing about this is that even if you're wearing hearing aids, you can use this. It has a speaker here and a speaker here, so right below your hearing aids. So if you want to say stream from your television, you could stream it to the headset and it would come through the speakers. Or, and here is a caveat, if you're in a room with somebody else and you're close by, you might not want to use those speakers because they'll be able to hear the speakers and that could be distracting. In that case, you would want to use the earbuds. But otherwise, if you're all by yourself, it could be a good way without to wear your hearing aids and still get some help from a streaming device. I could see using it for I could see using it as well because I can't stream directly to my hearing aids, but I could stream directly to this from the television or some other source and then just pick it up, amplified to fit my hearing profile. The thing I didn't mention about this that I think most of you know is that all three of these products work with an app. The app is used to configure it, and the app does a hearing screening for you. It's very much like a hearing test, but it's not a test. It's nowhere near what the audiologist does when you go to an audiologist office. But if you have mild to moderate to maybe even the top part of the severe range, this can help you because what happens when you take the hearing test is it'll produce a hearing curve, much like the one you see from the audiologist. And it'll take the parameters of that hearing curve and download it into the device. And so it'll do amplification much like your hearing aids would. In my mind, I almost think of this as a over-the-counter hearing aid type of device, although the company doesn't say that it is. And I'm not saying that it is, but I think it's a lot like them.
Hey, Lorin, can I interject?
Yes.
This is Dan speaking.
Uh-huh.
One of the problems is distance, trying to hear, if the speaker is far away from you, that's kind of tough. And this basically eliminates the distance problem. Would this be something you maybe connect to either listen to music with your iPhone or maybe connect to your laptop for a Zoom meeting instead of using the speakers on your desk? It would be speakers right below your ears.
Yeah, absolutely. You can stream to anything that transmits Bluetooth.
And this has a built-in microphone for conversation?
Yes, you can use it for, I think it says right here somewhere, for calls. Yeah, there's a microphone built in.
Interesting. Okay.
Let's see, where is it?
This might be an option to Zoom with. That's what I'm wondering.
There you go, mobile calls and audio streaming. So here she's streaming it from her phone to the headset. Now, I'm scrolling a little bit fast. Let me go to the top and let's look at it, and I should take a little more time. I'm somewhat familiar with it, so I tend to speed through this stuff. I apologize for that. But as you can see, the nice thing about it is you can wear it around your neck. You don't have to plug these things in if you don't want to. So people without hearing aids but have a hearing loss can use it. And you might even find, if you do wear hearing aids, but you can't hear your TV and you don't have a way to stream the TV, like you don't have a Compilot for a Phonak or one of those devices, you could use this instead and just even plug the earbuds into your ears, since, if you don't have hearing aids in. And I've done that with the headsets a number of times, and it really works quite well. It's sort of interesting. One of the videos shows how you can pull these little earbuds out, and then when you're done with them, you push a button and they snap right back in. So, and it mentions personalized amplification of live conversations, which I just mentioned. In fact, what I'd like to tell you in a couple of minutes is about a fourth product that they make that really illustrates how these products work. So this part I think is significant for television watching. It eliminates room reverberation. That's, a problem that I have when I have my hearing aids in. It's harder to understand what's being said on the television for me. So something like this would help, because it puts the sound, as Dan mentioned, it puts the sound right at your ears, right at your hearing aids. It's low latency, so you should get very little echo, if any at all. And yep, it pairs easily with your TV or your smartphone. This is mostly just marketing. It doesn't tell you a lot other than that. But anyway.
Lorin?
Yes.
Do you use this with your T-switch and your hearing aids?
No, you don't. This does not support would not support the neck loop.
So when you have your hearing aids on and you have this around your neck, does this device take the sound up to your hearing aids, or does it
Yeah,
Are there like two sounds going into your ears at the same time?
that's the idea. You would be hearing the sound through your hearing aids. Unfortunately, we don't have the device, so I can't tell you any more about it than that. I don't have experience to tell you.
I'm going to interject. Sue, just be aware, this is basically speakers resting on your shoulders. Think of it that way. So instead of speakers on the TV, they're resting on your shoulder and just using your hearing aids and hearing sound. And they happen to be on your shoulders, and that's how your hearing aids are picking it up. There's no real connection into your hearing aids. It's just
So I would
speakers
be
laying
hearing,
on your shoulders.
okay, I'd be hearing the TV from my hearing aids, but then I'd also be hearing it from the like two speakers that would be on my neck.
That's good.
Basically, yes, but it's a lot closer. I mean, the speakers on your neck, you'll hear better than the speakers on the TV that's 20 feet away from you.
Yeah,
It-
but we have a loop in our living room at home.
it-
And then I turn my T switches on, and that's how I hear the TV
I
at
wouldn't
home.
keep doing that.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
switch.
And the caveat with this is that what the situation you just mentioned, Sue, if somebody else is in the room and they have the TV on and it's loud enough for you to hear, then yes, you're going to be hearing it from two different sources. And if the latency, the Bluetooth latency, is severe enough, it's going to be very distracting for you.
Okay, thank you.
In fact, I discovered that by trying to stream Bluetooth without the low loss Bluetooth, and it was very distracting on using a different headset. Michelle, you have a question?
Sorry, trying to unmute. Yeah, I'm very fascinated by this technology, but I also have cochlear implants where I use my mini mic, and that links right in to the Bluetooth sound or whatever. But actually, so I have a question on how this kind of device receives the sound from the TV. I heard you say Bluetooth, but is it connected Bluetooth, or is the receiver is there another receiver sitting by your TV by the speaker, or how is that sound coming from the TV?
This is a companion product, which, come on, Zoom, let's go.
Okay.
There, you connect this to your TV.
Okay.
This is
Well,
a
is it connected, meaning?
Yeah, there's a optical connection on the back, or there's also a 3.5 millimeter jack that you can plug into your TV. I'm guessing
Okay.
your TV probably has an optical jack on it.
Well, yeah, that's what I was wondering. I'm thinking about different ways that this can be used with or without other people in the room, because like Sue was saying, I can see where it could be kind of, distracting or overlapping sound if there's multiple sound sources coming from different places. So with my mini mic, right now, I'm actually just using it, placing it closer to where the sound is coming out of my computer, but I'm not like hardwired or Bluetooth linked in. And so I think that is what Sue was just trying to compare, two devices that link in directly to hearing aids or cochlear implants. Ideally, that's our best way to hear. But these other devices are the next best way by putting it closer to the sound and closer to your ears. The other thing that really fascinated me about this is I think it really is something that sounds like it would be beneficial for people with no hearing aids, but people probably that should get them and need them. But maybe this would be one of the early PCEPs, that could help them. And I think about a couple friends that I have that I've been trying to tell them to go get tested and yada, yada, thinking something like these devices might really help them and help them understand if they really have a hearing loss and need to get hearing aids as well.
Michelle, are you local to Rochester?
No, sorry, I put in the chat, I'm from Wisconsin in the Fox
Oh.
Valley chapter.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah, I had joined in your meeting a couple of months ago, I think, and I just saw on the leaders board, I saw it yesterday, and it reminded me what an amazing demo center and information that you guys share. So I wanted to connect again with these devices. So
Yeah. Thanks for
Thank you.
joining. We really appreciate
You know,
your views.
May I
Yeah.
also make a comment? The Fox Valley chapter is the chapter that the Rochester chapter heard about the Hope Session.
okay,
You have the Hope Session, and we found out about it through our newsletter editor. And now that has become a very special part of our chapter, but we owe that thanks to the Fox Valley chapter. So thank you.
that's wonderful.
We have a-
Yeah, thank you for that feedback. We Nancy
We have a-
Gilbertson was one of the founders of that specific piece of our chapter, and yes, it has been very very well received, and a lot of other chapters are taking that same model and doing something similar at their locations as well. So that's great. That's what we're all here
And we
for,
have
to share
we have a
knowledge.
hope session coming up next week too.
Yeah, we have one, I think it's a week from today, next Thursday at 1 o'clock Central.
Michelle,
I
go ahead. Sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Did you say you guys also have one next week?
Yep.
Wonderful. I'm sorry, I don't mean to digress here. Do you have a separate Hope meeting, or is it part of your regular meeting, like just before or after?
Separate.
Okay.
Yeah, the Hope Session, what is it, the third Tuesday of the month?
Third
The Hope
Thursday.
Tuesday is the Hope Session.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, yeah,
And Thursday is, the third Thursday is the Demo Center.
demo center.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Sorry,
would
Lorin,
also
you can-
interject.
Could-
I would also
Back here.
interject that this.
Could we get back on back on subject? Excuse me.
Well, you know,
I got a question, Lauren.
Yeah, I just want to mention quick, Art, that the reason I wanted to get back is that I have a video that I want to show people. And yet another product that I want to talk about that I think we all, but in particular due to Michelle's question, I think she'll be very interested in this as well. So go ahead, Art.
It's a Bluetooth question. Can you have multiple Bluetooth devices operating in the same space, like in the same room? Or is it, you only get one at a time?
I find that I get interference if I have multiple Bluetooth devices in the same room. Now, not for receiving, but for transmitting.
Oh, okay.
So for instance, this device, in fact, will connect to two Bluetooth headsets.
Yeah.
Now, what I wanted to get back to is, let's just go back quickly, see if I can find the right page. And I want to show you. So I mentioned earlier that there's an app from the company who makes these things that will provide you with a hearing check. I don't want to say hearing test, but a hearing check. It gives you the tones just like you would get with an audiologist. You move a slider up and down. When you're all done with it, which takes about 5 minutes, it shows you what your hearing curve looks like according to its test. And then it takes I think I mentioned this once, but I'll mention it again. It takes those parameters, how many dBs down you are at 2 kilohertz and 4 kilohertz, and it applies them to the amplifier that's in these headsets, so that when you're listening to what's coming through the earbuds or the speakers, you're really hearing the amplification as best it can mimic what your hearing aids would do. And I'll tell you, I have severe hearing loss. I'm down about 65 dB at 2 to 4 kilohertz. And when I put this headset on, after having adjusted it for my hearing, I can hear as well with that as I can with my hearing aids. So that will probably the one deficiency it might have compared to my hearing aids is, although it has 4 speakers, 2 on each side, I don't think it really has quite as good a capture range as my Phone X do. It might have as good a capture range as other hearing aids, I don't know. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all. So what I wanted to show you is a third device made by the same company, and I have to search for this one. And this is something we have in our demo center. Michelle, you might be interested in this as well. That's yours. It's called the Express Check Hearing Kiosk. And what it does is, for anybody who walks up to it, they can tap the screen and it'll lead them through a hearing test. It'll tell them to put the headphones on, and they put the headphones on, then the screen says when you're ready to start. Well, without talking about it, I'm going to show you a video right now of me taking the hearing test. You won't hear the audio, and even if you could, it wouldn't make any sense because it's for my hearing loss. Can you see that video okay? I'm going to see if I can make it a little bigger. And then we'll play it. I'm going to move the slider ahead as it's playing because it's a 6-minute video and I don't think we want to sit through my fumbling around. But that's what it looks like when you walk up to it. And it says, check your hearing now and get started, just in case you can't read that on the screen. So eventually I'll start the test. Let's accelerate this a little bit. Oh, too far. There we go. And then what it says, probably can't read it, it says place the headphones over your ears so that they're completely covered. Make sure the right is on the right side and the left is on the left. And then you press next again. And then it says test your own hearing in some easy steps. Results will be displayed in a graphical form and your personal data won't be shared without your consent. Here is a screen that shows you the way you're going to be moving this little slider. And the little dots are the 500 hertz, 1 kilohertz, 2, 4, 6, and 8 kilohertz settings. It moved through those automatically based on your selection. So now I've started. So I have to move the dot and adjust it until it's barely audible. Sometimes it's already audible when it first comes on. So you have to move it down and then go back up a little bit till you can just barely hear it. And when you hear it, you just press the next button and then it takes you to the next frequency range. So, okay, so I think you get the idea there. It goes through all of those separate hearing frequencies. I think on one of these tests, you can actually hear a little bit of the tone that it's playing. But that's neither here nor there. I'm going to move ahead a little bit. And then that is the left ear, and then it moves to the right ear. We're still on the left ear. I was purposely doing this very slowly so that people could follow it, but I think I went a little overboard. Now we're in the right ear. And you know what's going to happen there, the same thing. So I'll skip ahead. And here we go. This is what we want to see. I'll just let this play through now. After the hearing test is done, you'll see the results of your, or the hearing screening is done, you'll see the results. And you'll see your screening audiogram. Now, I'm going to stop this. I don't have any way of really making this larger. But the way they display it, if you notice, it doesn't look like completely like a traditional audiogram. Across the bottom, it shows the different frequency ranges. I'm assuming you cannot read this: 500 kilohertz, 1 kilohertz, 2, 4, 6, and 8. But it doesn't show the number of decibels that you're down. It's showing this relative. And what this means is that in the gray area, and you'll see it off to the right here in a bit, it says these are the sounds you cannot hear. They're the consonants, the K's and F's and TH's, CH's, SH's, because they're higher frequency. And it shows the sounds you can hear. And I have a hard time just figuring out what they are, but there's probably there's a jet plane, a motorcycle, things like that, right? So I think this is mainly helpful to the people that you mentioned, Michelle, the people who have hearing loss. They either don't realize it or they don't admit it to themselves or to others. And they don't go to the audiologist because they're afraid somebody's going to twist their arm to buy a hearing aid, which is not the case for most audiologists, almost all of them. Or they're afraid that the hearing aids, they'll spend a lot of money, or they spend a lot of money and they won't do them any good. Whatever the reason, they don't ever find out if they have a hearing loss. So we'll have this in our demo center, and it'll allow people to walk up to it, take a hearing test, and so far I haven't given you the punchline, because right now people will say, well, that's interesting. Looks like I do have a bit of a hearing loss, but I don't know what it means. So here is what I told you. What you cannot hear is in gray, what you can hear is in blue, and then they show examples of sounds. But the real value of this, and maybe there's another product like it out there, but I've never seen it, is that, I'm waiting for it. Press the continue button. Good. Now you can hear a playback of somebody speaking with the original audio and with the custom audio based on your screening. So I think many people are going to take this test, and when they press that custom audio button, they're going to say, holy cow, I had no idea. They're going to be able to hear clearly. This, of course, is for people with mild to moderate hearing loss, and even, I believe, the upper level of severe, because it worked for me, but certainly not for somebody who is very severe or has profound hearing loss, because they won't even hear the tones, of course. And then when you're all done with that, I'm sorry. What it says on this screen is, please help us help others by indicating your age or gender. You don't have to do any of this. And then if you would like to enter your contact information and indicate that you want them to send the audiogram to you, you can put in your email address, and the company will send you that. And they did have a screen in here which I could configure not to show, but what that screen shows, I think it might have been right before the screen, was the 3 products that I just showed you. So they have a little bit of an advertisement in there, but I think we want to use this as a way for people to discover what they're hearing if they do have a hearing loss. Oh, there it is. I didn't take it out at this point. It shows you also a little ear thing that you can put into. So that was the video. And that is the Express Check kiosk. It's not a real big product. It's about 10 by 15 inches. What I've done, I want to take this around and show it to various businesses. and maybe have people check their hearing there. What I had to do though, I took this thing out up here because that makes it look like a real big product and it makes it less portable. So right now I have it sitting on my desk without the acrylic panel in it. And it really doesn't detract from its function at all.
Lorin, we have 10 minutes left. I don't know if you want to allow
think-
people to ask questions. It's up
I
to
think-
you.
Yep, I think it's time to stop now and go back to the questions. Is there-
Lauren, is this the device that we are going to be buying and putting in the, hopefully in the grocery stores?
We have it right, I have it sitting here right next to me, Sue.
Oh, great. Okay, and so this is the one,
This
where
is
it's here,
Huh?
that we've been talking about for several weeks.
Yeah. So now I can go and offer demonstrations to people.
Terrific.
Uh,
Okay.
Let's say it again. In my mind, to somebody who doesn't know they have a hearing loss or doesn't admit it, this can really convince them to go and see their audiologist. It might convince them to buy one of those headsets, which would be a good starting point. But I think in the long run, it's going to say, okay, now I've got to go see my audiologist.
Do you want to mention to Michelle what our chapter is hoping to do with this device?
Well, until I find some success, I don't want to really advertise too much. Right now, I think I'm just saying that we're going to have it in our demo center. And people who come and visit us can test their hearing right on the spot. They could have done that with the products because we had the headsets there too, the two headsets. But and I did give tests or screenings to a number of people, but it was sort of difficult because they had to take their hearing aids out, or if they didn't have hearing aids, it was easier. Then they could just put the earbuds in. But I had to run the test from my smartphone because I had the app on my smartphone already. So this bypasses all that stuff. Makes it quite easy.
And how much was this?
600.
Okay.
Well, it was 500 something plus shipping, and it came to 600. Came to 590.
I think a lot of wives will be thanking you, Lauren.
I think so. Yeah, I honestly, I feel this is a real breakthrough for us in being able to reach those in Monroe County alone, somewhere between 20 and 50,000 people who have a hearing loss, more than just a mild hearing loss, a moderate to severe hearing loss, who don't admit it or who don't realize it and are afraid to go to the audiologist. This, I guess we could rename this the audiologist friend. That's the effect it's going to have.
Hey, Lorin, can you stop sharing screen?
Oh, sure,
So
sure.
we can see everybody better? Thank you.
Yep, if I can figure it out. Come on. What's going on here?
You can do it.
I know
There
I
you
can
go.
do
There
it.
we
I
go.
can do it. Good, thank you.
Is there anybody that has any questions that they would like to ask? Anything special to them that maybe they're having issues with that you'd like to ask some of the techies?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, Sue.
Okay. I have been using this device that Lauren gave me, and I plug it in. I turn my T switches on. Oh, no, I turn my T switches on, and then I take the cord and I plug it into the computer and then turn it on. So the green light is on. Since I've been using another computer in another environment here, there's interference. and I've not been able to use it. And I'm trying to remember if when I first started using it, where I am right now, if there was interference. And I can't remember, but right now there's so much interference when I plug it in that I am just going by,
Sue,
yes.
why don't you give me a call? Maybe we can sort of fumble our way through it.
Oh, wonderful, Lauren. Thank you. Thanks, Lauren. That'd be great.
No, I'll be busy most of the afternoon, but otherwise I'm good, even right after this call. And let me offer, Michelle, if you wanted to find more information or talk further about this, just get in touch with me. Just shoot me an email or put a question on the website. Right. I think we're all friends here. Right. Okay. I'll give you my cell phone if you would like that. Oh, I can't hear you, Michelle.
You're muted, Michelle.
Sorry, I thought I unmuted. Yeah, I think you may have given me some information last time, or I can reach out, through the website or email. I do have a curious question. You probably show this on your website, but for your demo center, that's not just virtual online, but is that also in person that you actually staff that?
Yeah, you saw those 8 images on the page. Remember, the first one was Democentry Devices, and all of those things I showed you, the different categories. Every one of those products is in our demo center, and we can show you that there. You can test it. People come in, we show them the Pocket Talker, for instance, and some of the alerting devices, many of the devices.
We have
That's
we have a room. We have a room in the what's the name place?
Lifespan.
In
Lifespan?
Lifespan. We have a conference room that we use for one morning a month, and we advertise it and stuff. So we have actually a museum of all these things. And since COVID hit, we're not allowed in the building. So actually, nobody's allowed in the building. So that's why we went virtual.
It's
Okay.
free. It's free. It has excellent parking outside, and it's centrally located. And those were some of the criteria that we were looking at when we first were thinking of the whole Monroe County area and the Rochester area. And so we asked if we would ever be able to, to use one of their rooms, and they very kindly said yes. And they even helped us to buy a cabinet that we keep. It's a tall double door cabinet, and we keep all of the devices in there. And one person has the key from our chapter, Charlie Johnstone, and then Lifespan, which is the facility, they have the other key.
Lifespan provides services to senior citizens. So all kinds of, recommendation services, like they help you figure out which insurance policy you want next year, which Medicare policy, and you name it, and they'll help you with it. So
That's wonderful.
We bought
I
all
was
of our
just curious 'cause-
devices. We bought all of the devices from Harris. So they gave us a very nice discount. They did
That's
not
good to
give
hear.
them to us for free. We bought everything, but it was
Yeah.
well discounted.
We actually have, as part of our HOPE meetings, they had been developing what we've called a HOPE chest. So we do have a number of devices that are available to share with our members to help them, research if they need assistive devices and such. But we've only got, like one little bin of equipment. It's not a whole room worth like what you guys have. But we're also looking into a new meeting space venue that has some storage and maybe a small office that we could meet people once things open up again with COVID, and allow the capability to, have people come in and try out those products. So
Hope Chest is the best name.
Yeah.
We never heard of that before. I think we would have cloned that one too.
Dan?
You heard it here
Dan?
first.
All right, folks, we're actually out of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording. We're going to lose our captionists, but I will stay on a little bit longer for people